So, interesting story. We talked to Tom about this. This happened, I think, maybe less than an hour ago. All of a sudden, notified of the fact that the town of Hampstead, the Hampstead Council, unanimously passed a resolution expressing non-confidence in the government of Canada. Kind of came out of the blue. I thought we'd try to find out more. Jeremy Levi is the mayor of Hampstead. He's on the line. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Hi, Aaron.
So, I'm not really sure where to start other than to ask what brought this on and why today?
Sure. So it was actually last night, but it was March 18th. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Over the past 6 months, we have seen unprecedented levels of anti-Semitism, not just in our community, not just in Montreal, but all over the country. And we saw it only progress worse. And March 18th, when that motion passed, which was a non-binding motion, Israel was not going to listen to, and it was a major blow to Jewish Canadians all over the country. And this was something that we wanted to put forward, even though it's symbolic, just like, the federal motion was symbolic, to say that this is not okay, and it's only going to incite more anti-Semitism, and we want to see a change.
So I have a couple of questions here. I'm trying to understand, perspective here. A week or two ago, I had Anthony Housefather on the show when he was in serious reflection. You know this whole story. Obviously, you guys know each other. And it seems to me that you had said something maybe back then, after Anthony announced perhaps that he wasn't sure what he would do with his political future, that you think he would make a good candidate for the Conservatives. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of people in our community, in our riding, that resonate more with the conservative values than the modern-day liberal values. And Anthony's a great guy. He's a great MP. He's hardworking. He prioritizes his constituents. But we just feel that he's playing for the wrong team.
But since then, Jeremy, he has actually said 2 days ago, he came out, I guess, on Friday afternoon, said he'd met with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister had spoken to him about his concerns over anti-Semitism, had given him the authority now to basically work with someone else and go ahead and combat this and do whatever he could, because he's, of course, been very, very vocal on this. You'd think at that point you might say, okay, look, we're finally getting somewhere. The government has acknowledged it's an issue, and they're going to let Anthony Housefather go to bat here. Why would you then feel the need to do this?
Well, I don't think that the government has acknowledged that it's an issue. I think, I don't know what conversations Anthony had with the Prime Minister. Obviously, those were privileged. I do think that Anthony, in his mind, really believes that he's going to do whatever he can. What we have seen in the past several years is that everything that he's doing within the party is falling upon deaf ears. So we don't believe that there's any reason for us to believe now that things are going to change. I think the optimism for success is for us, it's not there. We hope we're wrong. But, maybe Anthony can take this to the Prime Minister and say, look, this is what my community is saying. You really got to make a change.
I have a sense he already knows that. I mean, this is not new for Anthony Housefather. This issue has been going on for a while. The issue you raised about, that the day that really broke the camel's back, that issue that was raised, that symbolic issue, if you will, when the NDP motion was introduced. You just finished saying, on the one hand, you have great faith in Anthony Housefather. He's great for his constituents. Are you not believing that even with this, conversation with the Prime Minister and the fact that he'll be working on anti-Semitism, that it's going to get done?
We have little faith. We have little confidence that we're going to see real change the way we want to. And I just want to mention that this resolution, we announced that we were going to pass this resolution well in advance of the decision that Anthony was going to take. So this is not reflective or dependent on a position that Anthony took. We were going to pass this resolution regardless. And we publicly stated this.
So it's not a shot across the bow at Anthony Housefather?
Sorry?
It's not a shot across the bow directly at Anthony Housefather?
Of course not. And I don't believe in giving him a shot. I really want to do this to lift him up. I'm not opposing to him. I just want him to take this and, that he can go back to his colleagues and say, this is March 18th was the straw that broke the camel's back. Mm-hmm. We really need to see change. I mean, I know that he's going to be working with Deborah Lyons, the special envoy to combat anti-Semitism, but what is, with all due respect to her, what does that say about her and how seriously she took the position if she needs help, conducting her own department? The whole thing is a mess. We believe that there's systemic issues across the country. Last fall, I was at a North American Mayor Summit against anti-Semitism, and there were 2 Canadians there. I was the only mayor, and the other Canadian was the Canadian Consul General of Miami. So the federal government knew about this summit and didn't bother to advertise or promote for any other mayors across the country to come. And it wasn't even a financial issue because the organization that was hosting it was paying for it. So everything that I have seen over the past 6 months is not enough to lead me to believe that we are going to have the change that we need.
I'd want to ask you one other thing. I mean, you're doing this, and I know you said it's symbolic. I asked Tom Mulcair about this because, to me, the story just broke this afternoon, and he's obviously saying, everything in politics is local. I would have played the quote for you, but it doesn't really matter. He's saying this is going to achieve basically nothing, right? Because you're a local community, and this is a federal issue. But at the end of the day, so the government sees your outrage. Have you done the same thing municipally? I mean, what about going after Montreal or Quebec for their lack of action on anti-Semitism? Is that part of what you plan to do, or have you done that?
Well, on a municipal level and on a Montreal level, we have pled before the agglomeration certain issues within the agglomeration council meetings. I have asked the president of the meetings to, within her powers, to invoke the IRA working definition against anti-Semitism, because, I was at some meetings where there were some anti-Semitic remarks, and we have seen changes there. But we really need to see the change at the top. Everything is the tone at the top, and we've seen it across the country with university campuses. I feel terrible for the university students because anti-Semitism, the front lines of anti-Semitism right now is at the university campuses. Most of us, we can go into our office, close our door, block everything out. But I'm sure you've seen videos all over the internet of these protesters disrupting and blocking students from carrying out their studies. And it's horrendous. And we really need to see change here.
We're going to run out of time. I would ask you one other thing. Look, you're a conservative. We've acknowledged that already. I brought up the part about you suggesting maybe Anthony Housefather, when he still hadn't made up his mind, would make a great conservative candidate in the riding. If I connect the dots here, Jeremy, am I seeing a picture of you possibly as the conservative candidate in Mount Royal for the next federal election?
So thank you for the compliment, but it's not in the cards for me. Being a mayor is not a full-time job. Being an MP is certainly a full-time job. I have an accounting practice. I have 6 young children. It's a tremendous lifestyle change that I'm not going to undertake.
Okay.
There's no ulterior motive here for me to set something up for a campaign.
Have you talked to somebody in the party, or someone talked to you about that?
We've had discussions, and I've relayed the same message to them that I have to you.
Okay. Jeremy, I thank you for the time. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
All right. Jeremy Levi, the mayor of Hampstead. Do you want to hear this, by the way? I didn't feel the need to play it, but earlier this afternoon when I asked Tom Mulcair about this, right? So this is a local municipality, Hampstead, small little community. Basically, and it says Hampstead Council unanimously has passed a resolution expressing non-confidence in the government of Canada. We remain unconvinced that Justin Trudeau and his cabinet possess the will or capability to effectively address anti-Semitism in our country. We urge a shift in direction. It's followed by a resolution spelling everything out. I asked Tom about that, and he said this.
All politics is local. So I guess there are people in Hampstead that are doing their best to try to help Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, and they're going to try to use their town council to do it. Of course, the non-confidence motion from the town council means absolutely nothing. It's a political game played at the expense of serious public administration on the municipal side, which is what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay. We shall see. Look, even Jeremy said, look, it is symbolic. We just felt we need to share this the way we feel, this the way in our town feel about what the government is doing or the lack of action by the government on anti-Semitism. We'll see where this goes.